The career itself is fascinating. Top of the second round pick, starter for the Raiders, had some success, got to be a starter without team success about as long as any quarterback I can remember in recent history. Be the starter. We don't go to the playoffs. Still get big money. All of that. That's where it's a unique career. And the fact that he's a starter this long, made that much money, one playoff game, and not a lot of other things that you could say that hang up a banner next to his name and go, oh, wow, this was phenomenal.
You're right. To last as long as he did
Kind of
without
incredible.
winning a playoff game.
Never.
And playing in one postseason game in his entire career. And look, I understand that when someone retires, just like when someone dies, you got to find good things to say about him. Some of the stuff I saw on social media was a little over the top. It was a little over the top.
Was Devontae Adams telling he was a Hall of Famer again?
Yeah. He went from one Hall of Famer to another.
Hall of Famer.
But some of the stuff, some of the people in the media, it was like, come on, man, you hurt your own credibility when you act like this guy is one of the best people who has ever thrown a football in the history of the sport. No, we have to be realistic about that. And I think Derek Carr would prefer some semblance of realism in all of this. One playoff game. He did make $205 million over the course of his career, so good for him and his family, and he was able to keep playing as a starter. The Raiders, after 9 seasons, decided they had enough, and it was after they had given him that big contract that paid $40 million a year. And I remember all the hype from the media. Oh, look at this 5-year, $40 million contract. Once I got it, it's like, hey, there's a hole right here where they can, after one season, run away, and they did. And they did. And the Saints surprised everyone by giving him another $40 million a year deal. And they would have kept him this year because they had no choice. If he was healthy, though, I think he would have been cut. And maybe he would have retired anyway. Yeah. I don't know where he would have landed. Fascinating to think of where he would have landed if he was healthy and he'd been cut by the Saints.
No, you're right. I mean, it's interesting altogether. One, he starts off well with the Raiders and does some things really good. Gets injured late in the season, right, where it was one of his best years early on in his career. He doesn't get to go to the playoffs in that
Broken
year.
leg, like Christmas Eve.
Second to last game of the year, right? They had some, of course, the Raiders weren't great and always supporting him as far as the team and all that. Jack Del Rio firing, go to another coach. I do believe that even when Gruden got there, if you remember correctly, and I'm kind of talking about how the stars align for Derek Carr here, we were questioning Gruden, Derek Carr, can that work? Is Derek Carr really a starter? Should he be a starter? Is that going to happen? But Gruden also had a horrible reputation at the time of he's just going to get rid of every quarterback ever. So I think because of that, he felt more inclined to kind of stay in there with Derek Carr and give it a chance because he didn't want to go, hey, I'm looking for another date to the prom, which I always do, and which is my reputation, right? And we used to joke about that in Tampa. That's how he is. So I feel like that gave Derek Carr some time. Then Josh McDaniels gets there. And then it's the contract, and we'll give him time here, and we'll see what it is. And then that year didn't turn out that well. I think Josh McDaniels and that coaching staff said, we got to make a move. He gets fortunate that it's the Saints with a team that they think we're in a win-now mode. We're an older team. We got to do it. Dennis Allen's like, I don't want a rookie quarterback. I got to win right now to save my ass, right? So he gets Derek Carr, gets him another payday. So he's been fortunate that way. He's got better physical skills than maybe people want to give him credit for, but the career itself is phenomenal in the fact that, yes, we're a winning league. It's about playoffs. It's about hardware. It's about all that stuff, and he has very little of that, yet he got to be a big-time starter and make hundreds of millions, and this day and age is actually kind of shocking. It really is.
He actually would have been a good choice for the Texans back in 2014, but because his brother David was the quarterback there and it didn't work out, that kind of disqualified him in a weird sort of way.
Right.
Mark Davis wanted to take him with the 5th overall pick in 2014. They took Khalil Mack instead, and they talked Mark Davis into believing he would be there in round 2, and he was.
Yep.
And the whole Gruden thing, someone that I've known for years called me after Gruden got hired and said Derek Carr will crumble under John Gruden.
Right.
And
there was a lot of people.
Carr's credit, he didn't.
Nope.
And to Gruden's credit, he softened a little bit.
Yeah, right.
He understood that he was dealing with a different cat. I could see Gruden, this guy's kind of a different cat.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to, he may not be as tough as Simms. Simms could take it. I'm not sure this cat can take it. Right? Couldn't you see him saying that?
Definitely.
But he did. And look, to Carr's credit, and this still bothers me, not that I'm defending John Gruden for the emails that he sent and for the outcome that came his way.
Yeah.
But they knew about the emails in June. They could have fired him in June, and they would have had time to hire a coach. Somebody deliberately pushed him out 5-6 games into a season, undermining the integrity of the entire NFL season. You take a team that's formed, that's played games, and you rip out the head coach, and Rich Bisaccia becomes the interim coach. To get as far as they did that year.
Yeah, it was impressive.
They could have beaten the Bengals, who went to the Super Bowl that year.
Right.
That was the game with the screwy, out-of-bounds, phantom whistle stuff. They could have won that game. They were driving to tie the game.
They were at the what? They threw a completion down to the 2 or 3 yard line late in the football game. I mean, that's how close they were.
And that, I think, is Derek Carr's most impressive season as a leader because somebody had to fill that void. They easily could have said, oh, woe is us. It's not our season. It's been torpedoed. Let's just get through the next 10 games and get the hell out of here. That, to me, I think, is the most impressive moment of his career. And what did he get for it? One more season with the Raiders after that, and they threw him overboard.
Yeah, no, exactly right. That's where it is a fascinating career, right? There are some things. Again, he came out, like you talked about, in a draft class where people – this is one of my first draft classes that I was a part of and starting to make my name for myself as far as the quarterback guy that evaluates it and whatever, right? But, yeah, that was the Teddy Bridgewater, Johnny Manziel, Blake Bortles class where – I can remember, and I was early part of just breaking into this business, working at Bleacher Report. I was going, what? Derek Carr's better than all of those three. I mean, Blake Bortles can't throw. Johnny Manziel is overrated. Teddy Bridgewater, I don't know. He's got to wear a glove or he can't throw the football. So, yeah, I don't think I love them. Derek Carr's the guy. The Raiders got him. He was awesome to start his career. And like we said, that's where you go, the Raiders, a little dysfunctional, certainly, too. So it's hard to pin some of the issues he had on him. But it's fascinating the fact that it started like that. It plateaued for a little while. Like you said, he survived. He hung in there. He changed his ways to a degree. He does have arm talent. He always did. He's a pretty good athlete. But people question things like his toughness at times. Will he hang in the pocket? That became a thing at the end of the Raiders and his first year with the Saints. That was an issue there. How he relates to the rest of the locker room. I know we've heard things like that, too.
On the field, chewing guys out when maybe you should be doing it on the sideline.
There's just stuff like that, right. So, again, I think the physical talent is better maybe than people have given it credit for, and he has starting quarterback talent, that's for sure. But, yes, in an NFL that's all about results and what have you done for me lately, it is kind of fascinating that he hung around that way. But yet I also don't want to blame him for some of those negatives because, like you said, there was some weird times there with the Raiders that he had to deal with, and he weathered the storm, and I got to give him a lot of credit for that. That's for sure.
Spot Rack posted on Saturday the career earnings for the quarterbacks drafted in 2014. And you mentioned Bortles, $47 million. Manziel, $7.7. Teddy Bridgewater, $64. Derek Carr, $205. And then the next guy, Jimmy G. He's at $154.
Right. Jimmy G. Okay. So, yeah, and Jimmy G was there, right? He was there in with the Raiders, Derek Carr's last year. Didn't they bring him in as a backup?
He was the one they brought in to be the starter after they got rid of Carr.
Oh, that's what it is.
And they had that weird thing with the
foot.
He had the
foot.
Right. Oh, we're here to introduce Derek Carr as the new quarterback of the team. Just wait in that room over there for about 7 hours.
Yeah,
and it was eventually come back tomorrow.
That's right.
Because there was the issue with the foot because they thought he should have had surgery and he didn't.
Right. So
and
that
was
crazy.
A disaster.
2 second-rounders that year outshined the 3 first-rounders in a big way. But yeah, that's where it's amazing with Derek Carr.
Can you name one other guy from that class? Can you just one? Just one.
Gosh, it's been a while since I thought about that class there. Wow.
I know you're on the spot.
The
red light literally is on.
Yeah. What is there? Give me a team. Is a team going to give it away? Like if you just say the
Titans.
Team? The Titans. Damn. Hold on. That really blew my brain up.
Really? Yeah. I thought it would help you. Zach Mettenberger.
Oh, damn. Yep. Yeah. I wouldn't have come up with
A.J. McCarron, Aaron Murray, Tom Savage.
Okay.
Those were
There's a lot of big names in that draft that weren't all that talented. But incredible. And Derek Carr, to his credit, he did have a very good career. Let's not forget about that. It's just a strange career for that amount of money and the amount of years he was a starter.
It's not Hall of Fame.
Right.
It's not Hall of Very Good.
Right.
It's not. It's just not.
No.
We insult the people who earn those distinctions by jamming names into the conversation that don't belong there.
Yeah.
It's you got the Deion Sanders upper room, you got the Hall of Fame, you got the Hall of Very Good, and then you got everybody else that had good careers but will be forgotten quickly, and we know that's the way it works in the NFL because the train keeps rolling.
Right.
That's the harsh reality of it.
Yep.
For guys who have given their whole lives to the sport, it's all they know. It's how they're identified. That's why so many guys need to understand, and I think they do, or at least they try to tell themselves, I am not a football player. That is not my identity because it is a temporary thing. It's like Chuck Noll said, after you retire from playing, you get on with your life's work.
It's a
this
short
is a
part
temporary
of your life,
thing
right,
to just get you started.
Exactly right. It's a blip on the radar, really. Even if you play 15, 18 years, I mean, in the grand scheme of life, it's a quick part of your life. My dad would say that to this day. Oh, damn, Christopher. I mean, I don't even remember my career anymore. That's the kind of things he says. My career was 8 years. It's like I was having this conversation with my son. Yeah, it went like that. And what's always tough is maybe when it's taken away from you a little bit before you want it taken away, right? That's where it hurts you. And that's where you wonder with Derek Carr. Even though he makes a decision to step away, maybe he didn't really want to step away, but he's going, man, this is going to be a while. And if I do get surgery, like you said, I'm going to be rehabbing. I'm not going to be back here with the Saints next year. We're going to move somewhere anyways. What am I going to go be a backup, do all of that? And I think when he just kind of tried to sit down, I'm sure with his wife and his family and the details, he just said that, you know what, that's enough. I've had a great career. I'm a little beat up, and we'll move on and go to the next phase.
It also wears on you, too, when you feel like your team doesn't want you.
Yeah, well,
he's not
I'm
stupid.
sure. Well, he's got to hear the things. I mean, there's been enough people. And, again, this is like, I know I've said it many times. It's not like I'm like, oh, I kind of heard. It's like, no. I freaking know. Like, I know. There's too many people that are in the know that I know that have told me point blank. So, yeah, he's got to hear that, too. And that's got to be a little bit frustrating. But maybe that helps him, nudge him out the door to say, the hell with it and the hell with them.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.